I've been wanting to go out on tour and play with a bunch of bands and see places I haven't seen before ever since I was probably 14 years old or something like that.
I don't know, I've always loved it, especially being in a metal band, just the energy that goes on in a live show when there's a good crowd and the music's really tight, everybody sounds good. There's nothing better than that feeling.
There's been a few times after shows where somebody would come up to one of us and say, "Oh man, I can't believe you guys aren't signed to a record label," or "I can't believe you guys aren't famous," or something like that. And you gotta understand, like, overnight successes don't happen really very often at all. I mean, it's a 1 in a million shot on a good day, if you ask me. And we're just not that band, and there's nothing wrong with that.
When setting up a DIY tour, you really start to see how involved different people are in the community of, local and DIY music.
Touring and playing music in general has just become this release of just something different, it's spontaneous.
You're stuck with your thoughts and, then your best friends to sit in a confined space for an extended period of time.
It's just something I've always felt like doing. And, even though we're just on a steady grind out there and, we're just making enough money to make more merch and make more CDs and stuff, we're being able to sustain ourselves out there, and no one's hurting too bad.
In our specific type of music, we're trying to represent, power and energy and everything. So, the most important thing to me in those instances is just being healthy enough to be able to portray that.
I've tried to make myself at least kind of familiar with as many instruments as possible, just because of the fact that performing is so much fun, and no matter what way or what medium is being used, it's still an absolute blast.
Touring on your own is interesting and hard because you're exposed to all these things that I think bigger bands, they have different people doing these jobs for them. We don't have a label or anything backing us up, so this is, we're doing everything on our own. We're having to do all these business things on our own, deal with writers, deal with contracts, deal with venue owners.
You need to learn a lot about yourself and your brothers, and you have to work as a team. And maybe touring doesn't really work on a resume necessarily, but I know every single one of us has learned a lot just from doing it together. And we love it. 35 minutes out of the night, you're the man.
It's fun. It is stressful at times, but at the end of the day, when you go home, it's like you have this new appreciation of everything you've been doing before you left to normal life. Suddenly going back to school or work or anything like that isn't daunting anymore. You're not getting tired of it. It's just like fairly nice vacation.
Really, at the end of the day, it may seem kind of selfish, but I mean, we're ultimately in this to make ourselves happy, and I think that's equally as important as delivering something that the audience can really care about.
At least with right now, this band, As Oceans, it's not the way that I or any of the other guys in the band make a living, but I can't imagine my life without it.